You were offered $70,000 to spend 1 week browsing the dark web, disconnected from everything and everyone. It's just you and the dark web. Would you accept this offer? How will this affect your mental health? Assuming you accepted this challenge, this is what will happen to you. On day 1, you start by exploring the dark web out of curiosity, encountering a mix of forums, marketplaces, and hidden services. Initially, it feels like any other internet browsing experience, although more secretive and with a heightened sense of anonymity. You might stumble upon mundane things like chat rooms or information repositories. However, the ominous atmosphere starts to set in as you notice the presence of illicit activities and unsettling content. Navigating through hidden websites and forums, one would encounter a range of peculiar and often unsettling content. The anonymity of the dark web could create a disorienting sense of detachment from reality. On day 2, the novelty wears off and the true nature of the dark web begins to reveal itself. Exposure to graphic violence, illegal marketplaces peddling drugs and weapons, and disturbing discussions of extremist ideologies could trigger feelings of anxiety, disgust, and fear. The constant barrage of disturbing content could lead to sleep disturbances and nightmares. Exposure to these dark corners of the internet starts to induce a sense of discomfort and unease. You might also encounter disturbing imagery and content that you would never see on the regular internet, starting to affect your mental state. By day 3, the psychological toll starts to take its toll. The lines between the virtual and real world begin to blur as the dark web's disturbing imagery seeps into one's thoughts and dreams. You might find yourself on forums discussing illegal activities or extremist ideologies. The anonymity emboldens users to share explicit, graphic, and often violent content. The constant exposure to such material can lead to feelings of paranoia, anxiety, and distress. The isolation of being disconnected from everything else amplifies these emotions, making you feel increasingly on edge. By day 4, the constant exposure to violence, exploitation, and depravity could lead to a sense of despair and hopelessness. The dark web is a breeding ground for scams, hacking tutorials, and discussions about cybercrime. You might start to feel paranoid about your own security and privacy, questioning if you're being watched or if your actions are being tracked. The isolation and exposure to malicious content can cause a significant spike in stress and anxiety levels, potentially leading to sleep disturbances and nightmares. You might become desensitized to violence and crime, which is a concerning psychological effect. The temptation to engage in illegal activities or seek out even more extreme content could become increasingly alluring. By the 5th and 6th days, you may feel mentally exhausted and emotionally drained. The continuous exposure to unethical and illegal activities, combined with the lack of normal social interactions, can lead to feelings of hopelessness and depression. The sense of paranoia may intensify, making it difficult to trust anything or anyone. You might experience heightened anxiety, feelings of isolation, and deep-seated paranoia. The content on the dark web, which ranges from human trafficking to hitman services, can cause significant moral and ethical distress. Sleep deprivation, paranoia, and anxiety could reach debilitating levels, hindering normal cognitive function and decision-making. On the final day, you would likely be experiencing a full-blown mental health crisis and might find yourself profoundly affected by what you've seen. The dark web's insidious influence could trigger or exacerbate pre-existing mental health conditions like depression, flashbacks, severe anxiety, or PTSD. The constant exposure to disturbing content could lead to a distorted worldview, characterized by cynicism, nihilism, and a profound sense of isolation. The feeling of being disconnected from reality and regular social interactions may persist, making it difficult to reintegrate into normal life. Accepting the offer to spend 1 week browsing the dark web for $70,000 might seem tempting, but the mental health repercussions could be severe and long-lasting. The financial reward, while substantial, pales in comparison to the potential for lasting emotional scars, mental illness, and a shattered sense of self. The dark web is a treacherous realm best avoided, its allure a siren song leading to a dangerous and potentially devastating path.